All right, folks, so what if I told you that the Toronto housing market is collapsing for most people? However, for the mega ultra rich has never been better, and they're spending even more money, and the sales have tripled in early 2025. So I would like to get into some stats. We can talk about it. We can share our experiences and stories. Also, I would like to thank all of you for subscribing, being sincerely involved in the community and the channel. And as you can see, we reached our 5,000 subscribers. So thank you so much. So let's just simply get into the video and why the rich are spending that money in Toronto GTA. So flash stats. Sales over $1 million are down by 23%. Over $4 million are down by 28%. But $10 million plus, the sales have tripled, right? So when I spoke to some people, and you know what, like everybody has an opinion when it comes to that. I have my own opinion. And I believe, obviously, when you get into that threshold, and that threshold 10 million plus, it's a complete different buyer. It's a complete different set of eyes and needs, right? So they're looking at a couple of things when they're purchasing these homes. So one big issue buying these type of properties, 10 million plus, is they don't make these properties every day. So that's always the struggling factor, right? I know most of us were laughing at that. They're like, okay, like they have much bigger problems than these types of $10 million housing issues. But that's the truth, right? So there's only a set of these properties that are made, and then when they hit the market, then it's either you buy it or that property will not hit that particular market MLS, whether it's private or public, for a long time, right? The rich can afford it, they can afford to keep it, they can afford to enjoy it, and that's an issue, right? So 12 homes over $10 million sold in GTA in early 2025, that versus 4 last year, right? So that's 7 sales within Toronto itself, which doubled since last year. So when you put that into perspective, I mean, yes, people have money, but there's only a certain percent of people that have money, right? And in that market, as mentioned earlier, people are pressured. They're definitely pressured, and they have to literally hit that button and make that purchase, right? Remember a few years ago when we dealt with these issues where inventory was very low, and then we felt that a fear of missing out issue, right? What I also would like to add, I spoke to many developers and builders and people that are in that particular industry, right? It's time. It takes a lot of time to go through red tape, to approvals, to government, to the actual build of that particular property. Because that's not just a little basement that you're trying to finish in your townhouse, right? Like it's huge undertaking, a lot of details, swimming pools, libraries, home theaters, like there's security involved, gates, you name it, like landscaping and all of that stuff, right? So it requires a lot of time. And what the rich want to do, especially the mega rich, is to buy time. That's the gig, right? And the other day I watched a YouTube video in Monaco, right, Monte Carlo, and they were selling these used yachts, you know, like 80 footers, 80 meters, 100 meters, 150 meters, whatever. And, you know, the salesperson said, like, look, we will sell this yacht. And it was like around $50 million. And I'm scratching my head. I'm watching this video. And I'm like, okay, like you're that confident you will be able to find a buyer, right? And that person that's interviewing the sales guy said, like, look, how certain are you? And he said, like, look, I am, because to find an equivalent yacht in a yard, right? First, it doesn't exist. Second, you need to not qualify, but you need to have drawings, you need to make it, and then they need to build it. So it's between 2, 3, 4 years by the time you get your keys for that particular yacht, right? So if they're in the market for that size and the look, that's it, right? And in that show, but at the end of that yacht show in Monaco, they sold the yacht, right? So that's exactly what's happening here, right? So for an ordinary middle class or an average person, $10 million purchase is a huge deal, especially on a home. But people that have that, I mean, like, to them, it's just like, let me cut the time, let me buy it right now, right? So ultra luxury is selling. Why? Safe haven for the wealthy. Ultra high net worth individuals park money in real estate during uncertainty. Canada, especially Toronto, since is a hub, is seen as politically stable compared to global chaos. So yes, like, if we're looking at the map overall on a global level scale, there's a lot worse places than Canada, right? So we seem to be a very cold location, but very stable, even though locally we have bunch of issues for an ordinary average individual, tons of issues. And I'll get into that, like, I'll get why, right? Like, we have political issues, we have local issues, we have these issues and that issues, but the mega ultra rich, it doesn't apply to them, right? Because they can save time by putting more dollars on it. Privacy of market transactions. Rich buyers avoid headlines, but deals still happened. Off market, even more activity than official MLS shown. Yes, that is true. So most of the time you will see that trading hands between these properties, you don't even know, right? Like, it happened to me walking my dog with my family and stuff like that. And then we have noticed new owners, right? So I say, okay, maybe, I don't know, maybe they're cleaners, maybe they're, I don't know, who knows? I don't know. Maybe they're there for a weekend, whatever. I don't even know. But then walking for months there, like, we realize, okay, these are the new neighbors that actually moved in. It's a very beautiful estate home. I don't know the exact value. If I had to put my finger on it, it's somewhere between 5 and 7 million. A corner lot, stunning, stunning property. However, I could not find it anywhere in MLS, right? And that's exactly what happens. I mean, these people, they want to do it, I'm not gonna say under the table, but they want to be hidden from all the headlines. So I don't blame them. If you have the money, why not? The different economy of the rich. So why? Interest rates, borrowing costs, and affordability don't matter at this level. Most deals are in cash, right? So the average person is affected 1000% by these interest rates. They're affected if they bought a pre-construction condo. And yes, the condo market is completely devastated. It's broken, right? There's more inventory coming. I've talked about it in many of my other videos. And yes, even homes have seen feathering down. 1.4 million mortgages cannot afford to pay, right? So I did a video especially on that topic. So when I say 1.4 million, either they were late on their mortgage payment or they missed a mortgage payment and stuff like that, right? So is not necessarily that they cannot afford a house 100% and it's a bankruptcy state, but showing these numbers, it always goes like that, right? Like, it's a storm in process before it becomes a big tsunami or a thunderstorm. Do you understand what I mean? So this is what's happening. It goes slow until it hits the off cliff momentum, and then it's off cliff, right? And then it's too late. So I believe that we are in that in that transition where we went through the market of belief, many belief we went back to normal, right? And then obviously other factors that came up, like tariffs and taxes and other adjustments, right? That it affected that market. So many believed that it stabilized, it went to normal, and then whoever I personally spoke to, they were denying it. They maybe purchased a property, they didn't want to acknowledge it or admit the fact that maybe they made a mistake, right? But I mean, to be honest with you, I personally don't care. I mean, like, I hope you can make it, but the truth is the truth. The numbers don't lie. And if you want to, let's say, have a statement or an argument or a debate, then we have to say how it is, right? So stock market gains, cooperative profits, and global wealth migration keep fueling demand. Yes, some people have won large on the stock market. They know how to time it. They know how to get in and out. I don't know. Others were saying Bitcoin, many millionaires because of Bitcoin. Stable coin, I don't know if it is, if it's not. They're saying it's the next big thing. It will maybe replace gold because it has a certain limitations on these coins. We're getting into XRPs. Many commented even on the channel, hey, you know what, buy XRPs and stuff like that. You'll be a rich person down the road. I don't know. I mean, you have to do your due diligence. You have to do your own homework, right? Because nowadays there's so many shiny objects. Wherever you turn, it's another squirrel, it's another shiny object, right? So it is hard to be stable and focused. And now we go back and we see that these sales actually tripled when it comes to mega and ultra rich. Limited supply, very few $10 million properties exist. Scarcity supports sales, right? So we did talk about this. That's exactly what happens, especially if someone has a particular geographical location or a community and they want to be somewhere, right? If they want to be on Avenue Road, or if they want to be in Yorkville, or if they want to be down here by the lake in Etobicoke South, right? Or Port Credit, Mineola, right? You name it, right? So there's so many beautiful locations, Hyde Park, right? So Richmond Hill, like, we can go on and on and on. But there are certain locations that people want to be. And there are limited properties that hit the market either on MLS or privately, and they literally have to jump on the opportunity. To them, that's an opportunity, right? Why this doesn't match the rest of the market. Middle upper class buyers are trapped in debt, high rates, and affordability crisis. Yes, that is true. Like, even that $1 to $4 million home, I would say, it's still having trouble because in that particular graph or bracket, maybe they're high worth income individual, right? It doesn't have to mean that they have steady income coming in while they're asleep. They still have to earn it, like a doctor, like a dentist, and stuff like that, right? Like in that avenue, like there's so many entrepreneurs and businesses and whatnot, which have a highly qualified job, right? But they still have to be there from 9 to 5, right? So they're still in that limbo, right? Like, they cannot lock the doors for 3 months and 6 months and just disappear and say, look, everything is going to be fine. No, bro, you're going to go under. You're broke. That's it, right? So I don't know who mentioned this. I believe it was Grant Cardone or Gary Vee or one of these guys said, like, look, I'll leave your business for 6 months to a year, and then you'll see what kind of business you have. So basically what they're trying to say, you will see how strong your business is and how lubricated it is and what your income will be. So I don't know how many people in this category can actually do this. And the ultra rich obviously operate aside that mortgage bubble, death bubble. I'm not saying that they're not taking their cars on on loans and leases and finances and all of that stuff? Absolutely they do, right? But they're in a different ball game, right? Like if they have to pay, they can just pay it off, right? So there's a huge difference. So the bigger question, is this a sign that Canada is becoming more unequal where regular housing collapses, but the very top thrive? Are the rich buying safety while everyone else is drowning in debt? It's a hard question to answer. I believe that it's not only Canada, to be honest with you. I believe everywhere in the world there's a lot. I would say the gap is becoming much wider and wider. So the trap for an ordinary person, middle class, average income, and this is exactly the trap that happened during the pandemic and during that peak and all of that stuff, because everybody, I believe, not everybody, let's say most people saw this opportunity. They saw the opportunity, that light at the end of the tunnel, thinking like, look, if I get to that threshold, I will be fine, right? And obviously they accumulated so much debt, they accumulated so much of nonsense in their life that literally now they're collapsing because they cannot keep themselves at that particular level of accommodation, I would say, right? And they did not build a business. So that's the difference. Like these people that are mega ultra rich, and when I speak to them, they got factories, they got different organizations, they have multiple streams of income that's residual, some income they have to oversee, they have to delegate people, they have to hire talent and all of that stuff. So they're operating at a completely different level, right? And I think that was the catch. Like everybody wanted to be in that ultra mega rich, but most didn't get there, and most will fail because now we're definitely in a downfall, and these people are in that category where it will affect them no matter what. So is it going to be trouble? Absolutely, right? Like are they holding on to their troubles for longer? Some do. Some are thinking, hey, look, another quarter, another fall season, another winter season, another summer season, it will be okay, right? So I don't think it will be okay for a long time until things stabilize on a global scale and the local scale. And there's so much work that we have to do in order to see these gains, I would say, in real estate market once again. So thank you all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.